Most of you already know who Raider is. He is the rank 1 EU West, UNE, and rank 2 Korea Darius. Not really an OTP, Darius is Jack's player. He also plays other things, right? We did a gameplay analysis on him because I really just wanted to find out what makes him so good. So this is a game where he was in a, I think, a master/GM lobby. Things get pretty detailed. There's a lot to learn from this. If you like this type of content, make sure to go to my streams. I do a lot of these gameplay analyses, and I also do a lot of coaching. So if you're looking to learn or learn from someone else getting coached, check out the links in my bio and enjoy the video. What do we have here? We have a Darius against Urgot matchup, okay? The first thing you'll notice is that they have a ward on Raptors, okay? And he didn't ask for this ward, but in high elo, most people will just place it because everyone knows in high elo that it's important to know where the enemy jungler is starting. So, first thing is we have the Raptor ward. Then our jungler is pathing to top, right? Now, there is a chance that he does like a vertical clear where he goes into the enemy bot side. Usually that's, you know, it's quite common when people do like Raptor start. So we don't know where the enemy jungler is starting yet. They could start red buff and then go all the way down. But yeah, we will know soon enough. Anyway, so here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to, this is like this little mind game with the Darius Q and Urgot E, right? And what's happening here is he's just going to use the bushes to not be able to get autoed. And try and Q the 3 melee creeps to get high value. Now, you can get prio as Darius in this matchup if you played well. But you need to dodge, you know, you need to dodge the legs and you need to dodge the E, which is possible. But it's not easy. So Raider is just walking back and forth. He's just, you know, queuing waves. Look here. They both level up after one more melee creep. So he's going to try and, you know, he's just completely spacing the Urgot auto attacks. And at this point, we should roughly know where the enemy jungler is going, okay? Because if our Silas is on Krugs already and the enemy aatrox hasn't showed on Raptors yet, that must mean that he's pathing towards top lane, because most junglers have a similar clear speed, okay? So, knowing that the enemy jungler is pathing towards top lane, our plan here should be to get the wave into the turret in order for it to push back into us. So, as you saw, aatrox, he actually showed on the Raptor ward. Now, also keep in mind, knowing where the enemy jungler is starting and knowing where it's pathing to also allows you to understand in what order the camps respawn, right? So now for the next 3 clears, you will know where aatrox is at all times, okay? So here, this is like the crucial moment. aatrox is on red buff, he's gonna go to Krugs after and then gank top, or he's gonna skip Krugs, just gank top and then take Scuttle. We ward, very, very good, and now we want to get this wave in. Now, here's the problem. If we queue the wave right now, Urgot will walk up and trade onto us, and it's going to be very hard for us to get the wave in, actually. So we have to play a little bit slow. We have to wait until all the creeps are low HP and then throw our Q, because if Urgot walks at us then, well, then he has no wave to back himself up with, right? So here, he's waiting to actually be queuing the low HP creeps, and then he gets the wave in. Now, a lot of people do this, right? This Urgot's like holding the wave with his body, and he's preventing it from crashing. Here, you shouldn't panic, because this wave will still slow push towards us. The reason it will still slow push towards us is because this enemy creep wave is going to bunch up, kill these low HP squishy caster creeps, and then it's going to be an equal health wave on his side of the lane. Now, as you might have noticed, it's not fully equal health. There's one melee creep that's a little bit lower, but that usually doesn't really make that big of a difference, okay? So now, aatrox, we see him on mid lane. We should be pressing tab to see how much CS he has. 24 CS, okay. Why is aatrox going mid here? Well, he doesn't have top prio, he doesn't have mid prio, so he's gonna cross to the bot's Scuttle Crab, which is a very good decision by him. Otherwise, we would have just moved there and looked for the kill, okay. Alright, so aatrox is gonna go bot Scuttle, and then he's gonna go bot lane, and then he's gonna go bot camps, most likely, right? And this is kind of just the order of operations that's going to happen. So what are we trying to do as Darius here? Well, most likely now you have a decision to make. You can either let the wave push back into you and get a reset after catching the wave, or you could push the wave back into your opponent and get a reset after crashing the wave, okay? Now, which one you do is kind of dependent on how trades go and what item spikes you need. In this case, against Urgot, usually you want to have your steel caps, right? Steel caps are very good in this matchup. But Urgot standing his ground really well here. He's not allowing the Darius to get like a free trade. He's not allowing Darius to hit the wave for free. He's clearly posturing to contest. So we can't really just force this wave back into him. We can't really kickstart another slow push. So unfortunately, we are going to have to give prio. Really good trade by Urgot there. So this wave is just pushing into us. And now once again, if we Q the wave here, Urgot will walk at us, press Q, and then just fist us because our Q is down. And that would be a very bad scenario. So we have to kind of make sure we play not too proactively. And we don't want a situation where we're pushing the wave back into him, but our Q is down, you know? So here Urgot, you know, Darius Q got used. So again, he's just punishing us. And now he just places a ward. This was not really a necessary ward though, because we should know that aatrox is going from bot to top here. And now it comes a pretty crucial moment in the game. This is what a very good top laner like Raider is very good at. So understanding this, if we recall when a wave is pushing away from us, we not only lose more, but also when we come back, the wave is going to be in a bad position because it's pushing away from us, right? We're going to be vulnerable when we walk up for last hits. We're far from our tower, etc. Especially because aatrox is pathing towards top, right? So how do we make sure this wave doesn't push away from us? Does anyone know the answer? Hold the next wave. Well, if you hold the next wave, then Urgot's going to be back in time to cancel your base. And now we're stuck in lane. Hard push before the next wave aggros, so neutral. Exactly, that's a good answer. We want to kill this wave before our wave stops to hit his wave. Do you understand that, guys? If we kill this wave before our wave stops, our wave won't bunch up and then it won't meet on our side of the lane. It will meet in the middle, which will be neutral. Look at this. The wave has been completely centered to neutral, as you can see. All right, so what do we buy? Now, Raider likes buying control wards early. I know this because I think the reason he likes to do this is it simply just gives a lot of pressure to the opponent when they're warding. I think he places it pretty much always in pixel bush. And it's very annoying if you have prio to deal with this, okay? So, right now, we should know aatrox is going back bot side. It's his third full clear. Should start now. Or am I tripping? His second. Anyway, it doesn't matter. His next full clear is starting now. And when we walk back to lane, we need to do something, right? We need to check enemy items. We need to check where the junglers are, and we need to check how the wave state is looking. So right now, the wave is pushing towards us. Urgot will level up before us. He only needs 3 melee creeps or something like that because he lost 2, I think, to level up here. So we have to respect, okay? And now Urgot has 2 points or maybe even 3 points in Q. That's very annoying to deal with. Urgot, his poke is pretty annoying. And here, as you can see, the Q plus auto is like 300 damage in total in this whole trade, right? We took 400 damage in this trade. That sucks a lot. So what we should have done here is we should have focused a bit harder on trying to dodge his Q. But he threw it really well, the Urgot, so that's well played by him. But yeah, we should just kind of surrender prio and then play aggressively on the next sequence. So here we catch the wave, and this time he doesn't nuke the wave. And the reason for this is because, well, now, since you're not resetting, you kind of want this wave to slow push towards your opponent. Because when you slow push, it's going to be closer to your side, and you're not as vulnerable to ganks here. At least for one wave. The next wave is going to be hard. Didn't realize I was tuning into Looca lectures. Looca lecture W. Anyway, so when you look at the map, guys, and you don't know where the enemy jungler is, often there's a lot of information that you can play off of. Such as, look at Drake. No one is contesting Dragon, okay? If the enemy jungler isn't contesting Drake, usually that means that they're top lane or they're on the opposite side of the map. That is a very, very logical conclusion that you can draw from the kind of lack of information is information itself, okay? Now here, Raider got a little bit upset because he got hit by the Urgot Q again. And yeah, it makes sense. Urgot's Q, the hitbox is a bit weird. And also the damage is quite high. And this is the problem, right, in this matchup. If you get below 65% health, you're just instantly in lethal range. I mean, here, the moment he takes his auto, now he's in lethal range. Urgot has his Elixir of Force. Plus, you know, he can E-flash, ignite, ult, auto, and then Q once Darius flashes away. Okay, now we see aatrox bot. Cool. And what are we trying to achieve here? We are trying to get a reset off by the time that we have steel caps, because once you have steel caps in this matchup, you're in a really good spot. So this is like a classic thing you can do on Darius. You can like heal off of jungle camps. So he's just gonna Q the Grump once, and then when it walks away, he does it again. So that's like a little bit of a trick you can use on Darius there. Alright, so now we're gonna catch the wave. And this time he doesn't wait before catching the wave, he catches it quite fast, again with Q, right? I think the reason he does this is because he sees Urgot. And so if he catches this fast, he can actually contest Urgot when he walks back the lane. You have to imagine that if Urgot is walking back the lane here and Darius is standing there, he might be scared and he has to like walk all the way around. And if he catches this slowly, well then Urgot has actually got time to go back to lane, right? Okay. So as you can see, he can now kind of like soft contest Urgot's move back to lane. He even ends up just queuing the wave here because Urgot's not there. And he can sometimes get like a free cheater reset here, you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a cheeky one. So he places his ward and trying to walk the wave in. Now, this is what a lot of Darius players do, okay? This is like your bread and butter. When you're crashing a wave, you have a couple options. Usually what you do after warding is you just go into the bush. And this is very annoying to play against because if the wave ends up going kind of like in the middle-ish, what you can do is you can make the wave kind of push towards you, but at the same time, you can zone them from XP in a way where if they cross this line where the XP is, so like where my mouse is here, you can kind of just walk up and get a trade. And it's a good way to mind control your opponents. Now, what is Raider doing here? He sees Urgot not walking up after catching the wave. What does that mean, guys? What is Urgot gonna do? Does anyone know? Does anyone know what Urgot wants to do here? This is a very high elo mind game. Recall. Okay, that wasn't very hard, was it? So what would you do in this situation, guys? What would you do in this situation? If you were Darius, what would you do in this specific scenario? Anyone? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you know the answer. Flash E and dive him. Count to 8. Wait a few seconds, then hard push. Very good. Very, very good, guys. Very, very good. The answer is you wait until Urgot is done with his recall. Now, Urgot, from his perspective, we don't know, or he doesn't know, whether Darius is basing or staying. And if Urgot stays, he has two options. He can either slow push the wave or hard shove it. If he hard shoves it, however, that's a problem. Because he's going to be using his spells to kill the wave. And that sucks. Because then Darius will just kill him. Because his spells are down. If he slow pushes, then he has another problem. Because if he's staying and slow pushing, Darius could have technically based. And when Darius comes back to lane, he will come back to a freeze. And then Urgot will have to base on a bad wave state. Does that make sense, guys? So Urgot doesn't want to stay. He doesn't want to stay. It's there in both cases, it's a bit risky to stay, you understand? So Urgot is gonna base. Now, Darius thinks that Urgot could potentially fake his recall, okay? If this Urgot is smart, he's gonna sit in fog for roughly like 7 seconds. And Darius will be mind controlled to push the wave, and then Urgot actually ended up staying. However, that's not what happened here. Urgot simply just based, we skipped a couple steps, and now what Raider does is he just counts to 8. You count to 8 because that's the same time cost to recall. Counts to 8, then she just shoves a wave in, right? And Urgot actually did end up staying. So well played to the Urgot, right? You see how well they both played this. Urgot knew that Darius wanted to do this. He knew that Darius would count to 8. And he knew that what he should have done is to sit in fog and wait for the Darius to disappear. Or to reappear. But those are like really high elo mind games, guys. And you can abuse those in your games too. Should have counted to 10 to make sure. Yeah, but when you count to 10, it's like, you know, your opponent is going to come back to lane. It's not going to lose as much. You're losing tempo, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, we're back. So what does Darius want? He wants to get a reset, right? He wants 1200 gold so that he can buy his steel caps. That's what he wants. Or, no, it's 900 gold right now. So he can already base, right? He can already base here. So this is what another, you know, these bruisers, these tanks, they like holding the wave. And once again, this wave isn't going to freeze for Urgot. It will simply just slow push towards Darius a little bit slower. So again, and now this is a very good moment to start recalling. Why? Because anytime a wave is equal numbers on the opponent's side of the lane, it will slow push into you. So he ends up just recalling on this wave state, 3 against 3 range creeps. He recalls, he gets stabbies, he comes back. And this is a super insane detail that ends up happening here, guys. Watch this. So you might think to yourself, oh, Raider is just catching the wave and then he's going to start a slow push. That is not what's happening. He recalled in time and he bought boots to actually end up holding the wave. But instead of thinning the wave to the point where he has, like, you know, four creeps, maybe 3 creeps, right? He just kills the entire wave except for the cannon minion. Why? Why does he do that? The reason is this. The cannon minion deals a lot of damage. And so if you want this wave to be pushing towards you, all you need is that cannon minion. Now, what he's doing here is he's pulling the cannon minion to the middle of the lane. For 2 reasons. One, you don't want to sit there and tank this cannon minion. He does a lot of damage. Okay, so we're just gonna walk your dog, right? Second is when you pull the wave to the middle of the lane, it reaches your wave faster and it starts hitting your wave faster, and therefore the Urgot will lose more. Does that make sense? Also, if he left the cannon minion under his turret, his wave would have killed that cannon minion before the next red wave arrived. Okay. And now, as you can see, Urgot lost 3 melee creeps during the sequence and a ranged creep, right? He lost 4 melees and 1 ranged, all because Raider did a really good reset timer there. So now what do? Okay, well, we have steel caps. Enemy have a top and jungler. They're both AD. So here we're just gonna thin this wave out so that we can match the move to the grubs, right? So we don't actually want to move the grubs here. Why? Because if we move the grubs, what is Urgot gonna do? Urgot is gonna crash our wave, and then we're forced to move back to catch it, or we're forced to drop a wave. And if we move back to catch it, Urgot's just gonna, you know, make a numbers advantage on the grubs fight, which is not what we want. So instead of pushing the wave and moving, or instead of just like moving now, we're just gonna match what Urgot does. Why? Because it looks like we're winning, right? So if Urgot moves, we move. If Urgot doesn't move, we don't move. And that's what ends up happening. So now we come back to the wave, we slow push this one, then we hard push next. This is a classic, right? League of Legends. Slow push one wave into hard push next, you see? Also, level 9 Darius can one-shot backline minions with Q, as long as you have that one item. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. So he just resets here. And now again, he's doing this cheeky thing. He's playing with vision here, where he kills the wave. He pretends to walk in a straight line to the 3rd bush here. But in reality, the moment he's out of vision, he just wraps around and goes sneakily into the 1st bush. And then he recalls there. And the reason is if Urgot holds his wave, he can stop Urgot from doing that, etc. Okay. Now he's staying because he sees Urgot kill the wave, and it's going to be neutral here. And again, he just counts to 8 and shoves the wave. This time Urgot did base and he didn't stay. And now again, we have a pretty decent lead XP-wise and CS-wise because of these really good micro little wave management tricks. You know what I mean? Why not do more than just a cannon? Because it's a headache to thin out the wave in a way where you like say, you know, you have to like position yourself very specifically, and you're gonna take a lot of damage in that process. So it's easier to do it that way. Just kill everything except the cannon and then drag it. What is the CS diff? We can see here. It's 113 to 97. 16 CS lead. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Okay. So we come back and look at the game state right now. We are 10 CS per minute. We're playing Darius against like two melee champs. And we're 0-0-0. However, we have good CS and the enemy jungler is quite fed this game. Again, he leaves one cannon alive. I don't know why he does it this time. I mean, I guess he wants to wave a bit more on his side, but it doesn't really make that much sense to me this time. Right now, we see the enemy jungler bot side, so we can just, you know, play aggressively if we want to. And this is like the Raider Classic. Now, this Urgot, by the way, really good movement. Really, really good movement. This is what Raider is really good at. I would say this may be even like something that is patented under Raider, okay? I like to call this the stutter step. That's what I refer this as. The stutter step. What he does is he walks forward and look, he's about to click back. Now, the human brain can't react that quickly. So the moment Urgot sees Darius walk back, he's going to walk forward to close the gap to get a trade. Knowing that Urgot is going to do this, we're not going to just click back and walk away. We're going to click back and then we're instantly going to turn back around and press Q. That is the stutter step. Okay? This works 9 out of 10 times. Okay? I'll let you watch it again. You click back and then you instantly click back into him with your Q. This almost always works, okay? Now, Urgot was really good this game, by the way. He had really good movement. I mean, he won all the short trades. So, whoever this Urgot is, bravo. Really good movement by you. Look, he read it very, very nicely. We got Carmelone over here. Missed his Q and still won the trade. And now Raider just hard shoves the wave. Now, whenever you hard shove a wave and your opponent is posturing to hold it and freeze, all you have to do is walk into river and go for the proxy. Now, if you have a champ that can't proxy, you can still go for the proxy and just pull the wave and get out. That's fine too. So here he saw aatrox bot, so he's going for the proxy. All you have to do is just queue the wave, walk away, and now the entire wave is dead. And Urgot can chase him all he wants. Doesn't really matter. He's gonna base, come back to lane. Now what? Now what? We have our quest TP. We're pretty strong. We're almost level 11. Darius with 2 points in ult. Scary motherfucker, guys. Very scary. Darius level 11. Very big power spike. Okay. So, we are going to do this again. Now, look at this. Look at this. He's crashing the wave. And then he does he fogs into bot side and then he wraps around. He wraps around and goes into the top bush. Or I think he tells his support to do it instead. Yeah. So here he's pressuring the enemy. He's pressuring the enemy to back off, and that gives his support some space to go into the bush there. Now, very good play. Very, very well played. Why are we not using our E here, guys? Anyone know the answer? Does anyone not know the answer, actually? Does anyone not know? Does anyone not understand why Darius doesn't just E the Urgot here? Exactly. Urgot flash. If you E Urgot here, he could still flash away afterwards. But since you're already on top of him, you can hold your E until after Urgot flashes away. There you go. There you go. There's no reason to use your E that fast, guys. Come on. Like, save your E for when people dash. Save your E for when people flash, etc. So this entire time, we've been, laning, getting 10 assists per minute. We're just waiting for something to happen. And finally, we get that one opportunity. And now we're in a prime position to carry this game. Why are we in a prime position to carry, guys? What is the difference between now and 20 seconds ago? Why is this so much different? Does anyone know the answer? Why are we now suddenly in a prime position to carry compared to before this kill? Does anyone know? We can get plates and XP while Urgot's behind. Okay. Item spike, take tower, play map. Okay. Guys, what strategies do you use to win games? What strategy do you use to win games? Does anyone know? Does anyone know the name of the strategy you use to win games with a lead? Does anyone know? And I already kind of gave it away. Goon start. Okay. Push and move. Aurus. You are a very good student, my brother. Push and move strategy. Does anyone not know what that is? I'll explain it. When you want to create numbers advantages on the map, when you want to get control over objectives, you need to help your team establish mid priority. How do you get mid priority consistently? The way to get mid priority consistently is to push waves on side lane, and while your opponent is catching the wave, you start moving to mid, which creates a 5v4. Can we realistically and reliably get priority on side lane to move to mid to do that entire sequence and that strategy? Can we do that without winning the 1v1? Can we do that, guys? Simply yes or no. Yes? Of course not. If you want to push your wave and your opponent is stopping you, if your opponent is contesting you on side and he wins the 1v1, if it's a side lane sequence, your opponent is contesting you on the wave, and you both want to push the wave, he's gonna fight you. He's gonna fight you, and if he's stronger, you can't do it. He will be the one doing it instead. Okay? So back to my question originally, why does this kill matter so much? Why is this such a big turning point in the game? Because instead of the 1v1 being close, it's so free. No flash Urgot, we have a massive gold lead, we have a massive XP lead. Now we hard stomp the 1v1 on side lane. At first it was a little bit closer, now it's cooked for him, okay? So now we can start looking to do the push and move strategy consistently. You know what I mean? So we push the wave and then we base. Now, where is the next objective? It is top side. After that, it's going to be bot side. We have our item spike, we have 2 sums, we have our ult coming up. We are in a prime position to fight. We are looking actively to use teleport for plays right now, okay? But the play has to be good. We can't just waste our TP for 1 kill, because then Urgot will just take our entire top turret when we leave, okay? So the play has to be good. It has to be worth it. He could TP behind him bot here, and it's probably a kill, but it's not worth it. It's simply just not worth it. 1 kill is not worth it. Urgot will just take the entire turn, okay? Now, we go back top and we start fighting this guy. Whenever your opponent is losing the 1v1, yet they're walking up the trade, often that's a sign that their team is behind them. So you don't want to continue the trade too much. You don't want to be too cocky, okay? So as you can see, Urgot's teammates are behind him, and we are in a not so safe position, okay? So here we're just playing weak side. We're just catching waves. We're waiting for our team to be in position to help us. And that's what happens, right? Aurel once again does this play. Raider is baiting the Urgot. Watch this. Watch this, guys. He just walks up in turret. He literally just walks up in turret. Urgot is like, what is this guy doing? Let me just flip him and kill him under tower. And then he just waits for Rels to tank. And he just get a kill. How good was that, guys? This was so well played. I would never do this. I would never think of this. It's genius. You just walk up and pretend to be cocky as hell. Urgot thinks, what the hell is he doing? He gets Urgot's E out, exhausts, and just lets his Rel tank first, and it just dies. Honestly, it's just so good. Very, very well played. Very patient too. Yeah, I agree. Very patient. Now what? We take the wave, we take the turret, we base. Now what? Why don't we TP here? Because look at the situation, guys. How many of you would just TP here and force a Drake fight? How many of you would just force a Drake fight? Be honest. How many of you would want to fight this Drake here? How many of you would fight Drake here? Be honest. Okay, I see no one saying me. That's very good, guys. That's very good. Why not? Why not? What makes this Drake fight so unappealing? TP where? Midwave, obviously. Nah, me. There's a reason I picked Emerald. Okay, fair play. Bot is low. You have no vision. Urgot TP and team low. Exactly, guys. Good thinking. Look at the situation. Rel no ult, and she's low. Veigar's low. You have no vision. You don't even know if they could be done by the time you press TP. The Drake could be just dead, you know? And if you TP, your Urgot can either mash the TP and then you're just 5v5ing on a bad timer, or Urgot just says, wow, that was a bad play. I'm just going to take the entire top turret, and now he's back in the game. So why do we open up here in the first place? Why is that? Why, if we know we don't want to fight Drake, why do we open up here? Who knows the answer to that? It's not a very clear answer, but there is a reason for it. There's a very specific reason for it. We want bot tower with Herald. That's wrong. That's wrong. Guys, remember, whenever your opponent is making a play that you don't want to answer, you want to do something on the opposite side of the map, not on the same side. That is called a cross-map play. And that is what a lot of people do in higher elos. So this is what he's doing. He's recovering his weak side. This is a very, very, very common play in higher elo. What you do is you make a play on strong side, right? Let's go back into the vault. We made a play on strong side, right? What determines what's strong side and weak side? The location of your jungler and support. So he's strong side. Now after the strong side play, he bases, and look at the top lane wave. He doesn't have to be top lane until technically Urgot is at his tier 1 turret. He has how long? Around a minute of time before he needs to be back top. That's called high tempo. He has a lot of tempo. Now, instead of using our tempo to go back to top, we're going to recover our weak side. So our weak side, who's been struggling to play because the enemy who is there, jungle support, we're going to help them play the game again. We're going to help them recover. We're going to surprise the enemies by being there. Sometimes they don't expect it. Understand? So Darius, Thanos is here. Enemies instantly walk away. And now, okay, well, as we can see, he decides like, okay, it's not really worth fighting. It looks really hard. We're just going to give it and go top. So what do? We end up going top lane. And now we have Herald, right? We're strong side again. We have Herald here. So what do? We kill the enemy Urgot. We set up this play. We kill the enemy Urgot. Then we take Herald and use it for the turret. Classic strong side cross map play, okay? We're going to use Herald to go mid. Very nice. We're getting a lot of gold. And now, look. He is casting recall. I love this detail, by the way. I love when people do this. He is casting recall while he's hovering mid. You see? He's hovering mid here. And at the same time, he's pressing recall. Now, either the enemies overextend and he can cancel his recall, or the enemies don't overextend and he can commit his recall. So whether you cancel or not depends on what your enemies do. Now, if you weren't recalling in this specific spot, you wouldn't be able to choose. Do you understand? Thing about Raider that is the most impressive to me is how fast he's around the map. Recall timer, speed of pushing waves is superb, and decision making is instantaneous. Yeah, I agree. So we don't have to be top here until Urgot's hitting our tier 1. But here's the thing, if Urgot ends up hitting our tier 1, we will just walk behind him and flank him and kill him. So Urgot will never push this next wave. If he's good, Urgot will not push his next wave. That's very, very illegal. Okay? So we are playing under the assumption that Urgot will not do that. That's why we're staying here. Okay? That is why we're just hovering, right? This is called a hover. We're hovering. Okay? Now, as we can see, Jace is looking to TP. This 5v4, Urgot will stop. We're 5v4. And we have a really good angle on Rel as well. So what do? We go in. We take the fight. We get Poppy ulted out, but we did our job. We walk back to the fight. We're just playing slow. We're waiting for our team to set up some kills, right? We need to have our team CC people for us so that we can actually kill people. This Rel, by the way, really, really good this game. Playing really out of her mind. There we go. We do the play and no hesitation. Instant reset, guys. Instant reset. No hesitation. Look, he chases the aatrox a little bit, instantly pings off. Boom, reset. High tempo, guys. High tempo. Now, where do we open up? Look how much he's pressing tab, guys. And this is what I tell my students when I'm coaching them. Pressing tab is like the foundation of good quality decision making. Because high quality decisions are based off of information. Low quality decisions are based off intuition. So how do you get more information? You press tab. How hard can that be, guys? So while he's basing, he's pressing tab. And while he's running back to lane, he's pressing tab as well. Look at this. Look how much he's pressing tab. What is he looking for? He's looking for enemy item spikes, enemy cooldowns, enemy TPs. Where's the next objective? Who has how many drakes? Who's strong in my team? Where do I want to fight? How do I want to fight? Etc, etc, etc. All of this, he's pressing tab the entire time he's walking back to lane. Look at this. He's analyzing the scoreboard the entire time. Look how long he pressed tab here. A solid 20 seconds. He's just pressing tab. Why are we analyzing Raider gameplay, by the way? Because I am a coach and I want to teach you guys how the game works. That's why. So next time someone tells you... So next time you think, oh, I don't need to press tab, look at this gameplay, guys. So what do we do here? Push and move strategy. That's what I said earlier. Why are we able to do the push and move strategy, guys? Why are we able to do that? Because we are stronger on side lane. We can even 2v1 at this point, I'm going to be honest. So how do we implement the push and move strategy? Look at this. Open your ears and listen to me. Everyone listen to me. If we push this wave and run to mid, we would be late on this wave anyway. There's no reason to run to mid here. We would be late to the wave anyway. It doesn't matter. So what do we do instead? Anyone know the answer? What is he going to do here? What is the proper play? What is the appropriate play? Right now, gun to your head. What play do you want to make? Go. What do you do here? Everyone, go. If you're a challenger player, gun to your head. What is the proper play here? I'm gonna shoot you, bro. If you don't say the right thing, I'm literally shooting your ass. Push for next mid wave, so push top. Fight scuttle. Mods. Mods. Yes, Aris again. Aris, phenomenal answers, by the way, so far. Really good, by the way. Really good. You're only saying the right things. Yes, you push this next top wave, and then you're looking to impact the next mid wave. The one that's coming out of base after this one dies. Do you understand that, guys? We're going to be looking to push the next mid wave. We're going to make a numbers advance on the next mid wave. We push the wave here. Someone answers us, then we go to mid. Yo, thanks for the sub, Mafia, bro. Just win the game. True. So, we push this wave ASAP. What do we do then? We're hovering. How many of you would just run through the lane like a dumbass? How many of you would do that? Like a complete dumbass. How many people would just run straight through lane like a dumbass and like just reveal yourself on the map? Enemy sees you. They're not scared of you. They'll just walk away. There's no kills, no nothing. There's a very, very specific reason why he's walking not through lane, but through jungle. Back to top. Why? Why is that? When you walk to the next wave, you want to open yourself up to different options. What does this look like? You push the wave and then you move like this and then you move back. Why? Why is that? The reason for this is because once you move to this point in the jungle, you can pivot back top or you can commit your move to mid. You give yourself two options instead of one. The other reason why this is good is because if you walk straight through lane and there's an opponent here, he will just walk away. There's nothing stopping him from just, you know, not being the distance closed on. But if you walk through jungle and he's standing here catching the wave, now you have a flank and you can kill him, okay? And so why doesn't he move to mid here? Does anyone know? Why does he end up, instead of going to mid here, why does he end up going back top? Does anyone know the answer? This is like school, but the teacher actually wants to teach, W bro. That's so true, actually. There's no play mid. Pressure to bring enemies. So they push mid. The reason is because there's no play mid there's no mid play anymore. So Kukuov was correct. Good job to you, brother. The moment he looks mid and he sees there's no play, Poppy died. So why is Darius needed for mid now? He's not needed anymore. His presence, his 5v4, him making mid a 5v4 now is not necessary anymore. You understand? So there's also sometimes you can also pivot. All right, it's not black and white. I'm dropping this class piece, guys. All right, then you're not gonna improve, brother. And now we can see there's a play on mid. Now, how do we determine whether or not we want a TP? Does anyone know the answer to that? How do we determine whether or not we want TP? Why does Raider end up TPing here instead of walking? Who knows the answer? I'll give you a hint. There's 2 reasons for this. And if you know either of them, I'll give you a pass. Because he would be too late to the fight if he walked. Support wraps around. Numbers advantage to the enemy. Shield, presence. There's no shield on the TP, so you are expelled. Faster, rune. Yeah, okay. Faster is 1. I like the rune addition to that as well, by the way. He's faster, and when, you know, if you have Nimbus Cloak and you teleport somewhere, you get like 800 move speed. It's crazy. Okay. Fight is committed. Hey, another Aurus. Amazing. You are a good example. Why is it a problem if we TP too early? Does anyone know? And not Aurus this time. Someone else. Why is it a problem if we teleport too early? Why is that a problem? The enemies would back off. Exactly. Exactly. All 3 of you. Good. What's stopping the enemies from... I'm not that retarded. Listen, bro. There's so many people who don't know this concept. It's not about being retarded. It's just about knowledge. So, if the enemies see your teleport and you teleport too early, what's stopping them from just walking away and then nothing happens? That is the problem. So we are looking to use our teleport once the enemies are committed. Okay? Very, very important. We can't just use our TP for fun. And now these kills lead to Nash because the enemy jungler dies. We just get Nash. There you go. What do we do after Nash? We push the top wave and base. Why do we push the top wave first? Because it gives us tempo. It gives us tempo to make a play on the opposite side of the map. So now we're just opening up through bot lane. There we go. We're going to take this bot tower. We took the wave. Enemies are collapsing on us. We're playing Darius, so we have 20 gajillion movement speed. Plus we have Storm Raider. They can never catch us. We're chilling. We are chilling. So now this play is gone. Instantly, the first thing you want to do is just go back to the wave here. You don't want to entertain this too much. Go back to the wave, kill the wave. And after killing the wave, what happens is people catch waves after you kill them. Surprise, surprise. People catch waves when you kill waves. What does that give you? What does it give you when someone is catching your wave that you already killed? What does that give you, guys? 2 words. What does it give you? Tempo, okay. Tempo, what else? Tempo and... Come on, guys. Numbers advantage, exactly. Prio, numbers advantage, those are kind of the same things. A numbers advantage. So, while Victor is catching the wave that you already killed, you can now look to do something in the jungle. Why? Because he can't join. He can't contest vision here. He can't contest anything. Victor has to drop the wave to join this, which you can literally track his movement. You can see him walking towards you. You can tether him. It's easy. Do you understand, guys? Do you understand? Do you capiche? Capiche? See? See? Capiche? Vale, vale. Right, so again, back to the wave. This time, look, we took their vision, we placed our own. Now, hitting this turret, look at our vision. Feels a lot safer, doesn't it? Feels a lot safer to push this, to take this turret this time, doesn't it? Look at the previous example. Would you hit the turret here, guys? Would you hit the turret here? Of course not. Look at your vision. You have nothing. You don't know where the enemies are. You could get collapsed on. The next wave. Here, look at your vision. Yes. Very good. Very good. Very nice. Very nice, right? So, now, we push one wave. What is he doing, guys? You should know by now. What is Darius doing? What's it called? What he's doing? Let's look at it. I'll show you guys the full thing. He pushes the wave. He pushes the turret. Now he walks here. Why is that? Why does he do this? What is this strategy called? I kind of gave it away already. I'm overqualified for this. Well, if you're overqualified for this, then you should be winning games in the same elo as him, no? No worries, I could have started that better. I give up. Guys, the push and move strategy. Come on, guys. Push and move strategy. That's what it's called. He pushes a wave, then he moves. Why does this work? Because Victor is still catching bot. He has a numbers advantage in this area. Perfect. We're going to use that numbers advantage to get a fight. Do you understand? It's so simple, guys. League of Legends is so simple. Really. Now, simple doesn't mean easy. Simple and easy, those are two different things, right? Okay. Okay, good fight. Base. Again, look at his tempo, guys. Look at his tempo. He just bases really fast. And now he's on the map before anyone else. Even faster than his teammates. He pushes the mid wave. Why does he open up on mid, guys? Why does he open up on mid here? Does anyone understand why opening up on mid is the best? Okay, well, he kind of just typed it in chat, so he gave it away. The answer is this. When you want to siege, you have to make the decision of who is best to place on mid. Because often this is what it looks like. When you're sieging, you're often doing like a 1-3-1, where you have one person on lane, 3 people in jungle, and then another person on lane. Okay? Now you have to decide for yourself, who is the best person to put on the weak side, right? Because you have a weak side and a strong side. Where's the weak side? Where's the strong side? Well, glad you asked. The weak side is where you're not sieging. The strong side is where you are sieging, okay? So you have this tower that you want to siege. So therefore, this is weak side. And this is strong side. Okay? Who's the best person to place on weak side this game? Who's the best person to put on mid? Is it Veigar? Is it Jace? Or is it Darius? You can't say Silas and you can't say Rel, because those champs, those are the jungle and support, and they're always grouped, right? Who would you rather put on the weak side? Jace, Veigar, or Darius? The answer should be obvious. It should be Darius. Why? Because Darius is the most tanky, he has the most movement speed, he's the most slippery, he is unkillable if the enemies commit to him. He's unkillable. Okay? Isn't 1-4 when you're sieging tier 3s? Yes. When you're sieging tier 3s, it's a bit different. You do like 4 people in the same lane. But usually you have like a control ward here, and then some people are still like hovering, you know what I mean? But yeah. That is why Darius wants to be mid solo, because he can get prio and he is the hardest to catch. If this Darius was an Azir, they would put Azir on mid. Azir can put his tower here, and Azir is hard to catch as well because of his range and his mobility. You understand? So we push a wave and then we move to jungle to get control. We push another wave, we move to jungle to get control. Push another wave, yada, 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 yada. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Now, what do we do here again? We recover the weak side. Remember what I said earlier, guys? When you make a play on strong side and you recall, usually the best play to do is to recover your weak side. Where's the weak side? Top lane is weak side. Why? Because there are no people there. It's a no man's land, okay? So we are going to go top. And again, we're not walking through lane. We are walking through jungle. Why are we walking through jungle? Because by walking through jungle, we flank the opponent rather than walking at them in a straight line. Does that make sense, guys? You always want to walk through jungle. It is 20 times better. look at how good his tempo is here. Watch. He instantly recalls. Why? He has 2600 gold. If he had no gold here, he would stay. He would push top, push and move strategy, boom. Now he's going to recall because he needs to spend his gold. He goes bot lane, pushes out the opposite side of the map so the enemies can't make a weak side cross map play. Pushes his one wave. Then he should be walking to mid here. So I think he ends up doing... So what he does is he walks to mid and then he sees Victor catch the wave, I'm pretty sure. He like sees the Victor catch the wave. Now sometimes your opponent will just int here and catch it way too high. You can get a free kill. Often though, they're not. And then you have to just commit your move to mid here. Because you need to help your team get mid prio. However, there's an exception. If you somehow determined that you don't need to help your team get mid prio, if that is the case, then you can just say here, because are you needed there? No, you're not really. If your team is stomping 5v5 or 4v4 rather, if your team is way stronger 4v4, then it's pretty fair to just say, well, they don't really need me right now, so I'm just going to do something else. You can sometimes cheese. That's what he does. He doesn't end up actually getting the victor. Here, I would not return back bot lane if I was him. I think this is a genuine mistake. Returning back to bot lane here doesn't do anything because your team is ready to start Nash. And if you go back bot lane here, you're delaying the ability to start Nash. You're delaying it by at least 30 seconds because you have no TP, you're not grouped. If he walked to mid right now, he could just force a fight around Nash. Why can he force a fight? Because the enemies don't know if you're on it or not, so they're going to be face checking to place wards, and when they do that, they're going to get caught, etc, etc, etc. Okay? So going back bot here is a mistake. And actually, as you can see, there is a fight that breaks out because of the mid wave and because the enemies see him. The enemies see him on bot lane. Now, we are very lucky that the enemy team didn't start a fight right now. Like, if they engaged on mid right now, we would not have TP for this fight. Okay? So he made a mistake by going back bot. He should have went mid here. Okay? As you can see, there's a fight. And why are we not in a 5v5 fight? Why are we not there? We should be there. Because we are so much stronger 5v5. We are so much stronger. We are like a couple thousand gold ahead. We have both sums. We have every item. We have ult, level 18, everything. So we should have been mid there. Now, instead, we're like TPing here and like looking for this play. I don't know why. But yeah, it's hard. Anyway, we do end up getting inhib. And then we base, and then we TP top lane. Now, again, if we're giving objectives, if we decided that we're not playing Drake, we want to be on the opposite side of the map. The problem here is that we're low on tempo. Why is he low on tempo, guys? Why do I say that? We don't have much time, by the way. We have 4 minutes before the coaching starts, so I need to hurry up. So quickly. Why is he low on tempo? Because Drake's in 8 seconds. Yes, exactly. He is. If he would walk top instead of TPing, he would be late there anyway. He would be too late to make a play there. So instead of walking top or instead of walking to Drake, we're just gonna recover all our tempo that we lost by just TPing. We're just gonna cheat. We're just gonna TP. We're TPing top lane, and now Urgot answers us. What does that mean? If Urgot's answering us, that means we have a numbers advantage. So we can either make a play on mid wave, we can make a numbers advantage around Nash, we can do anything we want, right? He ends up doing a jungle camp, and they get Nash. What is a good time before objective to get there then? You want to be around the objective like 40 to 1 minute before it spawns. That is like a good time, usually. So now the bottom nip is gone, so they want to siege mid top. This time they put Jace on mid. He has a lot of range, so that's fine. Darius being grouped is very good because he's the opportunity to, like, you know, E people, get picks, etc. His Rel dies. His Vigar dies. They're all just kind of inting. He just bases, says whatever, it's fine. He's going to go top lane, push the wave out. They're still going to siege. And now Victor gets caught because we do a good play here. Watch this. Flash E. And watch this. He does flash EW. Now, if Victor responds with his own flash, the problem for him is that he's slowed, right? The W slows him, so just flash Dash E W instantly, not auto WQ, not, you know, just instantly W for slow. Victor gets caught. Now we can siege because Victor's dead. They have no more wave clear, no more poke. And then we're just gonna take triple inhibitor. Now with triple inhibitor, usually the game is GG, right? That is usually like the, well, I mean, one of them respawns, so that's sad, but you know. Here we take the third one and then we just slowly end. And now Rel gets a really good ult and then we just, you know what I mean. We just finish the game. And this game, 0 deaths, 10 kills, 4 assists, 11 CS per minute. Really good scoreline, guys. Really, really good. And he didn't do anything fancy, right? He didn't do any crazy 1v9 team fights. He didn't do any, you know, 2v1s on top lane. No, just very consistent, good, high quality decisions. I almost finished. Just a bit more. Okay. You're not even expelled from my class. You're arrested, bro. I'm calling the cops. Is it wrong to push the opposite side of the objective, spawning, if you are playing like Nas or Yorick? No, that's not wrong. Depends on the situation. VOD on YouTube? Yes, I will upload this to YouTube. So hi, everyone say hi, YouTube.